Hey NFL fans, this is Gary Greene, longtime sports handicapper and professional sports bettor here in Las Vegas the past 35 years. And this is Gary Wins Videos, and this is your NFL Week 14 Sunday night bailout game of the week. The LA Chargers traveling to Arrowhead Stadium to take on the Kansas City Chiefs, who are a 4-point favorite. The total 43. Kickoff temperature expected to be a cold 43 degrees. Last week, the LA Chargers won a game over the Atlanta Falcons, but I think it was more the fact that Atlanta's quarterback, Kirk Cousins, completely lost the game because everything was Atlanta, except for Kirk Cousins, who threw 4 interceptions. And the LA Chargers got out of Dodge with a 17-13 victory in that game, even though they only had 187 total yards of offense, only 10 first downs, and Herbert was just 17 for 24 for 131 passing yards. As far as the Atlanta Falcons go with Kirk Cousins, 4 turnovers as his demise continues to go as we expected. But the first down advantage for Atlanta in that game was 24-10. So the Chargers had a bad game. Can they bounce back off that against the Chiefs, who have struggled to pull away against anybody, it seems like, the entire season? The Chargers are 4-1 the last 5 weeks, though, and they are 5-1 against the spread the last 6, so they've been good to the bettors. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs, the only people they've been good to is themselves, because they are getting W's, and they still only have 1 loss this year, so they have the best record in the AFC. But they're 0-6 against the spread the last 6 ball games. These two teams met up in Week 4. It was Kansas City winning 17-10. A weird game because the Chargers got off to a 10-0 lead after the first quarter, and then they never scored again. And in that game, that was a situation where the defense had just played so well for the Chiefs, and the Chargers just could not create enough drives, sustained drives. They just couldn't do it. When they finally had one, they ended up going out on downs. And the Chiefs, that was like the start of their winning close games for the year for the most part. But again, Kansas City last week, they pull Houdini out of their hat a lot. But 19-17 win over the Las Vegas Raiders in a game that the Raiders were about to win, but an improbable and insanity type fumble that cost the Raiders the chance to kick a game-winning field goal in the final seconds. But the problem with the Chiefs' offense is, I've said this for weeks, but they don't have the top number 1 wide receiver. It's almost all Kelsey. Once in a while, Worthy will make a big play, but they need to get the running game going better, which will kind of open up the passing lanes once again for Mahomes, because Mahomes last week was sacked 5 times by the Raiders, who are a middle-of-the-pack defense, and 2 weeks ago against basically one of the worst defenses in the league in Carolina, he was sacked 5 times in that game. So he's been sacked 10 times the last 2 weeks. You're going to finally get bitten with that type of performance if your offensive line's playing that poorly, and they are right now. They got a lot of questions, and they're going to have to continue to answer them. They're winning games, though, and good teams find ways to win. There really haven't been many games where the line was this low, so now the public's finally, for the first time all year, seeming to side against the Kansas City Chiefs in this one. Right now, again, neither offensive line is playing well. Look, the offensive line for Kansas City, I just mentioned, 10 sacks allowed the last 2 weeks, 35 sacks of Mahomes this year. The Chargers' offensive line has allowed 36 sacks. It might come down to what team can have their quarterback sacked less that could win this game. That's how crazy this game is. Kansas City's wins, though, folks, by 2 points, 3 points, 2 points, 6 points, and 7 points. And they lost by 9 to the Buffalo Bills. So in their last 6 games, not once have they won by over a touchdown. As far as the LA Chargers defense, this team's defense in the last 6 games has allowed 13, 17, 10, 8. And in the 2 bad games that they played, they allowed 30 points. That was a loss to Baltimore, which is no slouch. Baltimore's offense can move the ball. They gave up 27 points in the other one, which was a win. So all in all, the defense has kept them in the game enough, and the offense, again, they're another team that doesn't have that number one wide receiver for the most part. They have their number one wide receiver as a rookie, Ladd McConkey, but he's even been hurt, so not been able to fully gel of the last couple of weeks. As far as this game goes, the Chargers have won 3 of their last 4 road games. As far as the LA Chargers defense goes, last week, one worry I would have coming into this game, the defense was on the field for 36 minutes. So again, they got a win, but the defense really had to play a lot of time on the field last week. The LA Chargers offense the last 2 weeks, their problem is they're struggling mightily on third down. They're getting to third and long way too much. Again, that sacks have been involved in that. Penalties, a lot of penalties the last few weeks. They're 5 for 14 and 3 for 11 the last 2 weeks on third down. So they're just 8 for 25. It's a miracle they didn't lose both of those games. As far as the defense goes for Kansas City, they have been still very good for the most part of this entire season. A little bit hit by injury bug now in the defensive side of the ball, but they're number 3 in the league versus the run. They allow only 88 rushing yards per game, 3.7 yards per carry. And again, if they slow that run down, and that's what Harbaugh, the coach of LA, likes to do, he wants to run on first down, shorten those chains. But if you're stopping them at 3 yards a pop on first down, that's going to create third and longs again. So they're going to have to do better at that, and it's going to come down to early runs. I believe personally that they will not be able to run that well. So they're going to have to start to go to more screens and more passes to the running back. Still get them the ball so they can put a little bit of pounding on the secondary of this Kansas City Chiefs team that has been a little bit depleted of late. Wear them down. There's not a lot of depth going into this game. But the Chargers right now, they're 8-4. The reason, they have the number 1 scoring defense in the league. So they bend, but they do not break. Stunning trend of this game. Since the start of the 2021 season, only the Lions, Ravens, and Bills have been an underdog of less than this 4-point line. And again, the Kansas City Chiefs are a -4 here in this Sunday night game. 5 times that's happened since 2021, where there was somebody an underdog less than 4 points. 4 times the underdog beat the Chiefs outright. So again, and the other time was by a 2 points margin. So you're looking at a team, Kansas City, when the line's been real low, the lines makers have been right on the money. The difference of the two teams, the Chargers as well, turning the opponent over, plus 11 in turnovers. The Chiefs -4 this year. Kansas City, from a betting perspective, this season, 14 straight wins now by a touchdown or less, and we all know what the lines have been for most of those games. Kansas City, though, has an opportunity to clinch their 9th straight AFC West title with a win here on Sunday night. I'm going to go with a prop pick instead of a pick on this game. I'd like to go with the Chargers, but I don't like to go on teams going on the road when their defense has been a little bit tired legs from the previous game. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go with a prop play. Last week we split our 2 prop picks that we made. We won one, we lost one. We won the one with the Josh Allen. I said he would get a rushing touchdown, or the prop was he could get a receiving one. And I said how crazy the NFL is. He'd probably go out and get that. Well, he went out and got a rushing and a catch for a touchdown. So he did both. So we won that game on 2 different ways. The other one was Garrett for Cleveland to get a sack. In his game, he did not do that. So we are now 14-2. Very strong season on these prop videos, picks. 14-2. We'll try to make it 15-2. We're going to go with a prop bet on the quarterback for LA and the Chargers quarterback Herbert to throw the ball attempt-wise, pass attempts, over 34.5 here. Take the over 34.5 for Herbert's attempts, not completions, just attempts. Okay, again, the secondary, and I saw it even more last week when their cornerback, Jalen Watson, got hurt. They started missing a lot of coverage, a lot of bad reads. Obviously you can't run on them, so you're going to end up passing more. But, mistakes, big mistakes in the NFL can turn into 70, 80-yard touchdowns. And the fact that Vegas's quarterback, O'Connell, passed it last week on the Kansas City Chiefs defense, 340 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. If he can exploit the back end of Kansas City, I got to believe Herbert and the offensive game plan is going to be to dial up some more passing. And I can't see how he passes it less than O'Connell when they saw on tape clearly that you can exploit this defense now. So we don't even need him to complete them all. With any luck, maybe Kansas City's up by 2 touchdowns and are really forced to throw the ball a lot. And you can sometimes get 10, 12 pass attempts in the last 5, 6 minutes of the game. So we'll go with Herbert over 34.5 pass attempts for a prop pick of this game. And we'll try to make it 15-2 with our prop bets on the year on the Gary Wins videos. And make sure you check out my Week 14 NFL betting nuggets and also my Saturday college football title game weekend top betting nuggets as well. And that's one of the most fun days of the year in college football. So hit it all, check it all here on Gary Wins videos, and have a winning weekend, everybody. Never bet what you cannot afford to lose. God bless and happy holidays.